Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I just want to give a big shout out to the Wisdom Wealth organization for allowing me to come back year after year to hold this space and to serve the community in a way that I know how. And this year, particularly, we're going to be diving deep into AI. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Can I get a thumbs up? Everybody can see this. All
We
right.
can see you clearly.
All right. Awesome. So today I want to talk about building a business with AI. Can I just get like a show of hands in the chat? Who here are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs? Okay, so it looks like most most everybody. Well, good news is if you're an entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur, this is for you. And the great news is even if you're not an aspiring entrepreneur, this is still for you because we all have a purpose and we all have passions and little projects that we want to start on. And AI is becoming a tool to go to execute on some of these tasks. So I want to start off with some of the things we can expect and some things we are not going to cover in this presentation. But what we are going to do is we're going to cover a gambit of AI tools and methodologies to help you build and enhance your business and projects. Pretty simple, right? But what we are not going to do is this is not going to be a step-by-step technical guide for setting up, configuring, connecting, or publishing any digital artifacts. If you want that, you can join our community or reach out to me for a one-on-one consulting or business consultation. But for the purposes of this presentation, we're going to talk high level. Deal? Deal. All right, so there are a couple of kind of contextual or preliminary steps that I want to cover. So in terms of building a business, the technicalities are great. We'll go into the tools and methodologies. But I have a personal approach that I've taken and actually learned from different boot camps that I've been a part of, entrepreneur boot camps. And we're actually going to weave all that into how we build this business out, right? And this is a business that A is not real. It's something that I came up with on a whim. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with understanding the problem from a consumer or customer segmentation lens. So that's identifying the people and the demographic. Then we're also going to touch on the product development and making sure that the product actually solves that problem. And then we're going to get into creating the digital assets. That's the website, a mobile app, and some product prototypes. And again, we're going to be doing this using free resources. Free. 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 And then last but not least, we're going to show some lead generation, which arguably may be the most valuable part of all of this. Some tools that we're going to use just, as a preface for everybody, if you want to start, typing it in your phone, your laptop, whatever. We're going to be using Notebook LM from Google to conduct research. We're going to be using Google AI Studio. That's how we'll build our lead generation app. It's a mini app. We're going to be using Google Stitch to build out a mobile application. It's just a prototype though, a wireframe. We're going to use Google Flow for creating like a commercial type. And again, that could be used in very different domains and areas. Then we're also going to use Google Pomeli. And this is how we're going to build out a brand book and product mocks and website. So now that we've covered the preface for everything, we're going to get right into it. So as I was walking around the house and I was trying to decide, man, what type of business should we build using AI, right? I happened to look over and there was a candle and I was like, I think people generally like candles. Let's do candles and why not soaps? I think if you're gonna go make candles, you can make soaps too. That could be completely ignorant of me, but that's what we're gonna do. So I decided to call this Fragrant is this company. And I decided that Fragrant is based out of Portland, Oregon. We use all natural ingredients and everything is homemade. And again, everything you're about to see, I did for free. I didn't pay a dime. I didn't put my credit card information in. It was free. And to give a little taste of what we get at the end of this, this is the company, Fragrant in Portland, Oregon. We got candles, we got soaps. Here is the brand book that we will get from Pomeli. It includes our brand overview. And this particularly is super duper important if you're working with consultants or you need to pass things down. So instead of you trying to send a bunch of emails and gather a bunch of pictures from all all your different websites and different spaces to like convey what your style is, what your brand is, what your company is, you can just send this to whoever and they have access to your typographies. And again, I just randomly chose these just to showcase the range, but we'll get into it deeper. Your color palette with all the specs, images, of any of your products and services, and then also your brand voice and your core values and your tone and aesthetic. And then a really cool thing about this, which we'll see, is you can actually take this, you download it like as a PDF. And then if you're going to use any AI models and you want it to be specific to your company, all you got to do is upload your brand package or your brand book and put it into your AI model. And now your AI model will reference your business for what it is in real life. So awesome. Now that you all got a taste of some of the things, I didn't even cover everything we're going to build, but some of the things that we're going to get at the end of this. Let us dive into the first tool, Notebook LM. Notebook LM is going to be our research assistant. And again, we're talking specifically in terms of business and entrepreneurship and projects right now, but this can be used if you're a college student, high school student. I've trained both of them. If you're just curious about learning a specific topic you're interested in, how to be a better basketball player, what is biology and what is all of it, right? It's a remarkable tool. But for the purposes of this presentation, what we're going to be focusing on and using Notebook LM as our research assistant is understanding the problem and the solution. So, two big questions that we have to kind of preface how we're going to approach Notebook LM is, do people buy all natural and homemade candles and soaps? Is that a thing? Like, is this even a real business that we can get into? Then if so, what types of soaps are most desired? And you can replace that with candles or soaps and candles are desired. And what I did is I created a prompt here that we'll just copy and paste like so. And then I'm gonna shoot over here. Once you get into Notebook LM, this is what it will look like if you have never been inside of it, right? And then that prompt I just copied, I'm starting a homemade all natural candle and soap business in Portland, Oregon. I need to know more about making these soaps, who needs it, and how people will use it. I'm just gonna paste that right in here. And usually I would do deep research. Now, this is going to scrape more scholarly and journals and articles from the web to find different sources. But for time's sake, I'm going to hit fast research. And it takes generally, for fast research, not even a minute in most cases. But if it's backed up, I have a backup plan. Oh, look, there it is. Now,
Jayden,
what
you
I
might have to
typically,
pop over to the other screen. Sorry to interrupt you.
oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yep, I'm
Yep.
not sharing. Thank you. Give me 1 second, you all. Share. I need to share more. Mm, okay. You all can see this now. The
Not
notebook
yet.
alone.
Nope.
Sharing is technical difficulties.
We're seeing Notebook LM, yes. Sorry, I thought you were trying to share
Okay, so you
or
are seeing this.
we're seeing like your screenshot of Notebook LM within your Notion page.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna reshare. Apologies, everybody. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
And usually you can share the entire screen, but I'm not even seeing the option. Okay, but now you can see this,
Okay,
correct?
we're good.
Okay, awesome. So this is your notebook LM. So apologies for that, everybody. I didn't know you couldn't see it. Let me see if I can back out of here. So what I did is I took that prompt and I pasted it inside of here, and then I hit fast research, and then I hit enter. You don't see it because it's I haven't accepted this yet. But what I typically like to do is I like to go through the sources and just confirm that these are real valid sources, because sometimes you'll get things that are more, general public forums that are not super reliable. So I'll get rid of them. I'm just going to pick a couple of random ones to get rid of. Then I'll hit import. And now what Notebook LM is going to do is going to create this repository of all these different sources. So then when I want to chat and do some research, all it's going to do is reference the information I have put in the chat. It's not going to go scrape everything off the web like your chat GPT would. So this gives us expertise and a niche repository of knowledge and information to reference when we're building out and trying to understand our business. Now, you all probably still see Notebook LM, which is fine, but I do want to give a little taste because I already built a notebook over here. And so after you created everything, all you have to do is start asking questions about what you're curious about. So one question that I've asked was, who buys candles? Like we did in our first question. Well, busy mothers, pet owners, apparently that's something I didn't know. Wellness and aromatherapy enthusiast, right? And so then after I begin to understand, okay, now I see who buys this, I can do more research as to how much they're spending, all of it, right? For the sake of time, I'm kind of glance over some of these things, but if we have time at the end, I will take questions. Now, I do want to share some of the assets that Notebook LM can create. So actually what I did inside of this notebook is I said, hey, here's a business that I want to start, right? It's called Fragrant, and we're based in Portland, Oregon. I want you to create me a business plan. And it did, right? And I was able to tweak it, give it some more direction in terms of what we're doing, how we're not only all natural, but we're vegan, and our customer profile is we're targeting the busy mother, all these things. And this is going to come in handy when we go to build out our brand and start using other AI tools to really build out these different assets, right? So again, excellent tool. But also, I don't know how to make candles personally. Maybe that's somebody else's gift on here. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna start this business, I probably should learn how to make a candle. Hey, can you generate a instruction manual on how to make candles? And just because, for fun and to show off some of the capabilities, make it in claymation style. And it did, right? The Maker's Guide to Hand Poured Candles. So it's going to break down step by step. And if I say, hey, I don't want to use wax, I want to use something else, I'm not 100% sure what all candles are made out of, type that in and generate another one. And you can iterate and make it fit your aesthetic, or if you want to make it more aligned with your branding, you can do that as well again. And you can even monetize this, right? You take off the Notebook LM watermark, brand it up a little bit, package it, sell it on your website, right? That will end up creating actually in Pomeli. So Notebook LM is that research assistant. All right, I'm gonna try to switch back over here to Notion if this works. Okay, are we back in Notion, everybody? Everybody see this?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So once again, Notebook LM, the research assistant. We have researched our customer segment. I know I glossed over it because we had lost a couple minutes there, but we had decided to hone in specifically on mothers, busy mothers. So the next thing we want to do is begin to build out our brand. This is our brand packaging, product markups, mock-ups and photo shoots, excuse me, our social media campaigns, and even a landing page. So without further ado, I'll hop back over here. Okay, awesome. So once you log in or get into Google Pomeli, again, you can access through Google Labs, but I believe my wife is also dropping the link in the chat. It'll look something like this. And literally, you just go step by step. If you already have a website that you want to enter, you can do that. If you don't, you just hit no website yet. And if you have anything that's relevant to your business, which in this case, we had our business plan that Notebook LM put together, we'll click this, all right? And then we can upload our files here on the right, and then it will generate, as I'll show you here in the other tab, all of our business details. So I'm gonna hop over here to our completed version. So once I imported that document, and the reason I didn't do it live because it takes some time for everything to read and upload, you'll get all your business information. If you have a logo, you can insert your logo as well, but you'll see the colors that it extracts. And if there's nothing tangible for it to extract, it will interpret based off of the theme and the type of business you're in. I mean, this stuff is brilliant. Your aesthetic, your tone. And again, these are all things that you can tweak and edit according to how you actually view and want your business to be viewed. And branding, I'm sure as marketing experts all over the world will tell you, it'll make or break your business, period. So this is an incredibly useful and powerful tool. You can also add in your location, your number, business hours, all that stuff, which comes in handy when you're building your brand book and your website. So without further ado, let us go to our brand book. Let's do the brand book first. So once you get logged in and you get all your business information in, actually you can go here and create brand book. Now, since I've already had it generated, this is something you'll get. And again, you can download this PDF, but if you want to edit it, you can go back to your business DNA and let's just say I hate this Barrio font, which I do. And let's just say I want Big Shot, right? Then I'll go back here. And again, this is not published yet. So if I wanted to go live or just have this as a website somebody can view, like again, a consultant of mine or a partner of mine, now this has been updated just that quick. I updated the whole brand just that quick. And I could download it, publish it, send it, whatever. Also, what we have the power to do now is create a landing page. And I'm sure as many of you, you are business owners, you all know how expensive and even monotonous and dry it can be trying to get a website built because most of us don't have the clear image of what we want for a website. We just know what we don't want at times. So as a consultant who has built many of websites, it can get very tiresome and hard. Well, now there's a tool as a business owner that you can go in and just create something basically in about 3 or 4 minutes. And again, it's all aligned to your brand. So all I did was hit regenerate. Now that I have updated the brand, I really just updated a font. It's not even the whole brand, it's just the font. And when it loads, we'll see the difference. But until then, you can see that I've made a couple of iterations, right? This was before I had any products really to show. I had one picture and I was like, okay, this is a bunch of generic stuff. Then I did a photo shoot, which I will show you all how to do really quickly here. And now this is looking like a really professional, clean and simple, right? It's nothing crazy. It's clean and simple, shows our products, collections, and then when I insert a link to purchase, you can do that here. And again, this is not the space for that. So while that's loading, let's go to the photo shoot, right? So this is where we'd say, the magic happens. So if you don't have any products, like physical products, or if it's a digital service, you don't need to have a picture of it. You can actually create one using AI. I'll just say more candles, just to show you how, generic and basic you could get with this stuff, right? And while that's generating, I'll go and show you some of the pictures that were already generated. We'll go to assets. I did not start with any images. I didn't even put a reference image. And this is some of the cool things that AI has generated for free, everybody, for free. And you can do it too. And you can even turn these into, you could use this on Facebook if you're trying to promote your product or service. These are very clean, professional looking products that again are aligned with my brand. So they speak to my audience. Busy mothers is our audience for this purpose. Now let's see, is our website updated? Okay, yep. See, nothing drastically changed, which I really like. The one of the things I hate most about some of these AI models is when you try to change one small thing, it ends up changing everything. Then it's like, that is not what I wanted. All it really did was update the fonts. So that's awesome. All right, now let's go back to our photo shoot. More candles. Again, I was incredibly vague. So this has nothing to do with like what I actually am trying to achieve. But this is just to showcase that you can prompt, you can get a specific, hey, I want more branded, I want more fragrant candles, and it will generate that. And then when you're ready, you can create a campaign, a social media campaign. So you don't have to spend thousands of dollars trying to hire somebody to create something that probably took them 30 seconds, like I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go to campaigns. And based off of your business DNA and any of the assets you already have in Pomeli, it's going to give you some suggestions, right? So I kind of like this, the Midsummer Sensory Reset. I was going to take a look at the brand and it's going to come with a couple of ideas. So I think I like this one, right? So now I have a preview. And I'm like, hey, I really want to use one of my pictures. Let's use this one. Looks good. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to take that image and it's going to kind of like reimagine it with this campaign in mind, this midsummer sensory reset in mind. Again, and I don't really care for the font, but it took the font directly from my branding. So if I didn't want this to keep popping up in this font, I will go back to my branding and change that. But I also have the autonomy to change the wordings, the colors, the sizes. So you do have some autonomy. And then when you're ready, you just download it and then go put it on your social media. And again, I know I'm kind of breezing through all of this. If you all want more in-depth information and walkthroughs, I encourage you to join our community, our school community, where we meet up bi-weekly, but then we also are pretty active in the chat and have some courses coming soon. So this is Google Pomeli. Google Pomeli. All right, get back over. Now, and one thing I missed with Notebook LM. So the original time it would take for you to go out and conduct a customer discovery and research the problem and then sit down and ideate solutions. In my personal experience, like I've done this a couple of times in different arenas, it takes somewhere between 2 to 12 weeks, depending on the niche and the depth of knowledge you're trying to articulate. But with Notebook LM, we can do this in 15 to 30 minutes, seriously, and like with quality information and quality knowledge. 15 to 30 minutes. You just won back. I don't even know how many hours that is, weeks of your life. And with Pomeli, you know, I've built websites, and so I can tell you that it can get pretty expensive. And so building a website alone, going back and forth could take the better part of a month and a half, 2 months. But building a brand package, getting a photo shoot, running social media campaigns, that stuff, you can spend up to $25,000 easily just getting your branding and marketing set up and spending 3 to 9 months. But with Pomeli, we can do all that. You just watch me do a bunch of this stuff in less than 5 minutes. But if you really want to get into nitty gritty and get in more detail, 20 to 30 minutes is what it's going to cost you. But in terms of money, it cost us nothing. Now, I can't speak for y'all, but I know when I came across that, my mind was like blown. Now, Google Flow, I'm actually going to skip this one for now for the sake of time. If we have time, I'll come back to it. But for reference, Google Flow is where you can do storyboarding. And so you can build out videos. Now, I put commercials because that's kind of what I think fit this type of business the best. But if you're going to do videos where it's instructional, you can use AI to generate videos basically, and you can get niche. But the caveat with Flow is that while it is free, its free model is not super great and it takes a lot of credit. So you can only generate like a handful of things within your generation period. Okay, so Google Flow. If we have time, we'll come back to it. Google Stitch. For my entrepreneurs, I know like myself and people I'm close to, we're visionaries. And if we have a website, like why not have an app? We want to solve all the things. We want to have all of it, right? And Google Stitch is one of again, just an incredibly powerful tool to create web and mobile apps. And I'm just going to give you a quick preview of what it's capable of. You have to forgive the slow transition. I have to like manually switch screens, but it's all good. We are rolling. So when you get onto Stitch, when you first log on, it'll look something like this. Now you probably won't have anything on the left side, but it'll be like, "Welcome to Stitch. What are we going to design today?" And literally, I have a master prompt in the notebook LM. I mean, in the Notion, excuse me. I'll just paste it in here. I want an app that allows users to customize and order their own candles and soaps. And then what I would do, actually, I'll go ahead and do it. I'm gonna upload my brand files, right? So I have a logo and kind of a storyboard to build more contextual information. And we want this to be a mobile app. So while that's rendering, well, actually, this doesn't take very long at all to render. So I'll actually stay on here so you all can see what happens real time. And again, free. Like this stuff is incredible. So what it's doing is that the AI is basically looking at my prompt and looking at the images and saying, okay, how do we make sense of this? He wants an app, and based off of these images, looks like it's based in Portland, making candles and soaps, handmade. So it's going to interpret everything just from the pictures in my prompt. Again, I didn't even import any of the like the business plan or any of that. So what we get, it may be a hit and miss in terms of some of the wordings and some of the value work, but aesthetically, and as you can see, it's generating real time, all the agents creating things, mind blown. A backstory about 8 or 9 years ago, when I was creating my first prototype app, I used Figma, and it took me 3 months to create a wireframe prototype, very similar to this. 3 months, and this just took a couple of minutes, a couple of minutes. And the cool thing is, and it may kind of look unorthodox, unusual, but I will show you once it's completely done, which it will be here in a minute, how you can interact with this. You can change it, update it, and then you can also export it and make it go live. But again, that's not part of this session. All right, and as you can see here on the left side, the AI is explaining everything that it's doing. So if you're curious like me and want to read and understand what it did, so you can even tweak it better, that's where you can learn. So I'm gonna hit preview. So now we get to preview our mobile app. Handcrafted in Pacific Northwest. If I start your creation, so a lot of times the buttons don't work just because it's not pointing to anything real yet. That is something you can import or even have the AI do it if you give it the proper links. Right. Let's see if any of these other buttons work. Oh, that's funny. I didn't add all the screens. So what you're really supposed to do is add all these screens. So that was my bad. But you can click through on all these buttons and scroll through each of these pages. And again, I did nothing but prompt and upload a couple of images. And now we have a working prototype. So even if you're going to go pitch to an investor and you really want to help them understand visually what you're trying to go for, or if you're working with a consultant like myself who could then build out the back end for you so all the data connects and so you can log in with Google and stuff like that, handing something over like this speeds up the entire process and makes it so much cheaper for everybody. So again, this is Google Stitch. Google Stitch. All right, we're gonna head back over to Notion. And like I mentioned before, my own personal story, it took me 3 months to come up with a wireframe that wasn't even as complex in some ways as what we just saw, like in terms of the color gradients and everything. We just did that in less than 10 minutes. Uh, Probably more like 5 minutes, which is insane. And again, if you want that greater detail, greater depth, and you want to prompt engineer it a bit, it'll probably take you 30 minutes before you get to a really good stopping point. But still, 30 minutes compared to 6 months? Are you joking? This stuff is insane. I've been in this since like 2017 and it still blows my mind. And creating these apps, whether it's a prototype or the real deal, it is very, very expensive to hire a programmer to build this stuff out. But now AI has come on the scene. So what used to cost a grand to all the way to really 100 grand, depending on the complexities and levels of it, we can now generate for free. I keep saying free because I need y'all to know this is real, and I'm not just, some AI guru on YouTube trying to convince you to come to my side and I'm gonna get you. This stuff is real. You can go on Google, open up your Gmail right now, and access everything that I've been showing you. And now, last but not least, we are going to hop over into AI Studio, and this is how we build mini apps. And we actually, in our Upskill Thursday meetings in our school community, we had a challenge where now people in our community are building their own mini apps based around problems that they have and experience in their everyday lives. So this is an incredibly powerful and useful app, not even just for business, but for personal projects, creating dashboards, all the things. And again, free, free. So I'm gonna hop back over here, getting a little quicker with it. All right. So when you jump into Google AI Studio, it'll look something like this. Build your ideas with Gemini. And I have a prompt that actually I want to showcase how you can have AIs work with each other, even if it's kind of a manual process. So the thing to remember with AI Studio is that it is a generative agent. So it is going to scrape information from various sources, and it's going to compile it in a way and then push it through an interface like an HTML. So it looks good. So the better and more detailed your prompt is, the better your app is. And that's a very broad and general statement. Again, we get in more to it on the side, offline, but keep that in mind. So if we want to get a really good prompt, what I like to do is I like to take a master prompt of what I'm striving for, and then we go into our notebook LM, and I'm gonna literally just paste this, create a prompt for a lead gen app to identify people and places to contact in Portland, Oregon for our business. So Notebook LM is gonna go scrape all the sources that we originally grabbed. And again, all this is related to my business. And I didn't do this step real time, but I also have integrated and pasted our brand information and our business report actually back into our sources. So the model knows to continuously reference our business. Okay, since we now have an official business plan, this prompt is specifically engineered to highlight your unique brand pillars like your pet safe formulations, eco-cheap packaging, and focus on the busy mother demographic. Great. So literally what I'm gonna do is I am going to copy all of this, Control C, then I'm gonna go back to our Google and I'm gonna Control paste. And then if I want to get at any like visual references, I can just upload our logo. All right. Then I'm gonna hit build. And again, so this is going to take significantly longer than the other apps to generate because there's a lot. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go over to the finished product that I've already pre-made. And here, I'm going to go to My Apps, Fragrant. I have to give it a second to reload here. But as you can see, I did the same process several days ago, probably about a week ago. Oh, actually, that is the same exact one. Excuse me, my Google account switched on me. So y'all getting to see some real time transferring. All right, here we go. This is the one that I created a couple of days ago. And as you can see, I imported practically the same thing, right? And it went through and it says, I've created it. There are some big things that you pointed out, but also some things I extracted from the picture. And then when I wanted to tweak something, all you have to do is type down in here, I want a map preview, right? And it would do that. So while the map is reloading, let us check back on the other one just to see. And this is all part of it. Like you're seeing in real time what it looks like to work with AI. But here it is. It populated faster. Fragrant. So this is our lead generation application. And why is this so valuable, Jayden? Well, you don't have a business until you have customers to sell to. So arguably your pipeline, your sales pipeline and strategy is the most important and valuable part of your business. Now, everything we did up to this point is incredibly important, but this part is how you can start really making the money. Because what we did is create an app that allows us to get a peek into the different neighborhoods, businesses in our area, which in this case is Portland, Oregon. Presence of mind. Sarah Jenkins is the owner. She's 2.8 miles from the Portland Center. Gets a lot of foot traffic. I need to reach out to Sarah and sell her some candles, or at least make a partnership with her so I can sell my candles in her shop. Excuse me. And again, I created this using one prompt that I put into Notebook LM, and then it crafted something specific to my business and business plan. So I didn't have to try to articulate and matriculate what I think I'm looking for. And I put that all into Google AI Studio, and it came out with this. And again, there may be some things that you have to tweak, like this map is not very good. It points out the districts. But keep in mind that this particular app is not something that I'm trying to sell to anybody else. So for me, it doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to work. So I can go on here, find phone numbers, emails, or even events that are local, and then go. And then I can do the networking, do the human work. AI has now enabled us as a human race to step back into our humanity. I think, how we look at it is important. So let me go back to our Notion as we close out. All right, awesome. We're back in Notion. So AI Studio, and really these numbers are generous. It would take somebody, even with a really great knowledge and experience with coding, at least, and really at least 6 months. And I'm being generous because I know I've asked and reached out prior to AI blowing up. 6 months and really tens of thousands of dollars. But if it's something really baseline, you can get away with, that 1 to 10 range. And we just did that in under 20 minutes for free. Just let that sit for a second. We created a mini app in under 20 minutes for free. We didn't have to go to base 44 or anything and put in card information. And again, this is for free, but there is work to then go live with these things. So as I close out, trying to wrap it up a little quick here, so if there's any questions, we can cover them. We covered that using these 4 or 5 different tools, you can save up to $60,000 in starting your business. And again, when I say business, I mean the digital structure and core of your business. You could also save up to approximately 2 years of development time. 2 years of development time trying to get a website, trying to get an app, trying to get your branding all put together, trying to create a commercial and get your social media on point. You've cut out 90 something percent of all that time using these tools. And what are these tools? It was Notebook LM, Google Pomeli, Google Flow and Stitch, and then Google AI Studio. And again, this is what I teach whenever I do workshops and different summer camps with high schoolers in terms of business. I always say fall in love with the problem first. That is where it has to start. If you don't fall in love with the problem and connect with the problem, your solutions are vain. And even if it may make money, it's likely not really solving the true problem. So fall in love with the problem. Understand your customer segment. That was the first thing we did in terms of action and research. Understanding your customer segment, and then find your niche. You don't need to solve the whole thing for everybody. Like find your group, find your core, and then hammer in on that. And then experiment digitally. There's a tons of tools I didn't even cover today. Most of those aren't free, but there are so many more tools out there. And again, our community spaces where we talk and share these different tools with each other. What wasn't covered that I think you all need to be aware of? Learning curve. Prompt engineering and prompt chaining takes practice and diligence. And the greatest skill that I tell all of the students that I work with when using AI is not math, it's not coding, it's communication. How well can you articulate and how clearly can you get across your point? Because that's what the AI is going to take to try to predict what it needs to generate to make sense of what you're asking, right? Also, there are software limitations, whether it's the cognitive power and ability of your particular model, like we use Gemini in pretty much everything because that's Google's model. But then there are also in certain different softwares, maybe you only have, for an example, 10,000 monthly credits. But then in like Google Flow, maybe that's 8,000. And depending on what you're prompting, it eats away at those credits faster. So that's something to be cognizant of. We also didn't really cover the dynamics of AI, like agentic AI and how it's transformed, even how AI should be used. We didn't talk about, like I mentioned earlier, the commercialization of these tools, like how to actually take it off of Pomeli, take it off of AI Studio, package it and sell it and make it consumer ready. And we also didn't talk about just what AI actually is, its models, and its environmental effects, which are very, very important. So I don't want to make it seem like it's not important because I didn't talk about it. It's just with the time that I had to pick and choose. But then last but not least, the computational limits. There are daily, weekly, and monthly usage limits for various models, for various tools that you want to keep in mind. And then also model optimization. One of the biggest things we didn't touch on, in depth at least, is how these different AIs and agents and models and tools can be integrated into each other. So at the end of the day, you can create a system where all you do is click a button, or all you do is prompt one time, I want a business that XYZ for ABC, and then it does all of that in the background for you automatically. And again, that's the type of stuff that I help my clients, friends, family, much like yourselves with. If you're interested in building those more complex and complete workflows, that's what I'm here for. So as I close, I'm gonna just say it one more time. If you're interested in learning more about AI, how you can use it to benefit your business, to benefit how you give back to the community and all the things I encourage you to join our community. It is called The World of AI by ThinkWell Strategies, hosted and ran by myself. But we also have a handful of individuals in there. We have our bi-weekly Upskill Thursdays where we get on and dive into different AI tools in the hopes and the goal really of learning how to combine and work with AI to build out real businesses that solve real problems. And we are also going to be coming out with some online courses here soon. And if you want to learn more about our business, you can go to thinkwellstrategies.com. That's www.thinkwellstrategies.com. I believe my wife is going to put that in the link. But again, thank you so much for your time, and I hope we can leave a couple of minutes for questions here.